Hello everyone! I wanted to do a quick little video and talk about the energies this week. Woo! I feel like we'll need to do this every week for the eclipse season. So we are well into the eclipse season. Started with a new moon that we had last Sunday, early Sunday morning. Yeah. And now we're coming to that first quarter moon. And as we come to the first quarter moon, what's happening is, so at the new moon, sun and moon right next to each other, and then the moon moves much faster than the sun. And so as it starts moving, it's going to create this square, and a square is a conflict, but it's also propelling you forward to look at. So it happens really quickly, but I really wanted to talk about it because a lot of people are struggling with this fixed energy, and coming into an eclipse season, that's a lot of fixed energy. So when we have excuse me, sorry, my nose started itching, the new moon in Leo, we're going to have the first quarter moon in Scorpio, and then we're going to have the full eclipse brain in Aquarius, which is another fixed sign. So these are all the fixed signs, which I'm going to talk about in a minute. And then the last quarter moon will be in Taurus, which is another fixed sign. So people that have a lot of any of those signs in their chart, so if people that have had a lot of Leo, have a lot of Scorpio, have a lot of Aquarius, have a lot of Taurus energy in their charts, are going to be feeling this cycle the most, although we are all going to be feeling this cycle. So definitely just being aware, if you know you have a lot of those fixed signs, you might want to take extra care. And I know that a lot of people that are reaching out to me right now have a lot of those fixed signs. And so what does that mean? Well, there's 4 different types of signs. So there's mutable, fixed, cardinal. There's only 3. Oh my gosh, maybe I should finish my coffee. And so depending on which one of those you have more of, you're going to be feeling certain ways. So mutable, which we have a lot of mutable energy as well in the chart, which thank goodness, because we are coming into a lot of changes. And so the fixed energy can be really stubborn. Look at the Taurus, bullheaded, and Leo is also very stubborn. Aquarius is, I have an Aquarius daughter, and she is also very stuck and stubborn and fixated. So the word fixated really expresses kind of the fixed signs. That's really good to be stubborn with certain things, right? And then with other things, not so much. So having a lot of this energy this month, we'll see a lot of other people's fixedness, fixations, and the mutable energy is helping us to hopefully look at those. It's not that we have to change those, just to look at those. And then also with the fixed energy, it can actually help us to create change if we have that combination of the fixed and mutable, because the mutable signs will be able to roll with that more, and the stubbornness within us and the courage within us and the wanting to transform and wanting to grow with the fixed signs will help us to create that change. So the combination of the two is actually really good if you know how to work with it and you know what's happening. Because for a lot of us, we're just struggling because we don't really know what's happening out there. And so with that, it can create a lot of conflict, and we might be trying to do things that we shouldn't be doing during this time. So let's talk about, so that's just the fix. So if you have a lot of those fixed energies in your chart, you might be feeling a lot of kind of just confusion. And so just being aware that that's okay, and that's the time that we're in, but also being flexible with what you can, and getting clear with what you're not willing to be flexible with. Very good time to do that. Because a lot of the time it's because we're giving too much, or we're wanting to change too much too fast. But definitely being aware of where you're being guided at this time. And I know that just through a lot of people that I'm working with, a lot of people are getting new messages about what their life path is, or where they're supposed to go, or what kind of work they're actually supposed to be in. And so if you're feeling those changes coming up for you, or those pulls towards new things, definitely look at those, because they're not just coming up for no reason. It's definitely a time to listen to those impulses and your intuition. So that first quarter moon will be happening on July 30th, which is Sunday. And so just being aware that you might notice a little bit more conflict during that time, but it's also helping you to look at maybe, hopefully you set some new moon intention or had some time to really think about where you want to see yourself going through the cycle. If you haven't, you still have time to do that. So do that. And then you might notice some of those things coming back up for you as a possibility to look at transformation, because Scorpio is all about transformation. And so our internal landscape is set for, that Sunday, it's really set at transformation, looking deeper. So it's a great time to do some introspection. And then Leo is all about the sun, and Leo and our outer personality is all wanting to be playful about it. And so definitely having some way to work with those energies that's playful around change and transformation it's a great time to do that. So the other thing, since Mars is conjunct the sun right now, looking at that's going to also be squaring the moon, and so where we're being pulled or pushed to go to is also going to come up. And a lot of people that have been contacting me have Mars in Leo, and so if you have Mars in Leo, just know it's your Mars return, and that might be why you're feeling extra just like this tension and kind of where to go next. I need to know where to put my energy. So it's there, and it's okay to have that, but also knowing that you don't need to figure it all out today, and that the more you're taking time to listen to your intuition, and to listen to whatever internal messages you're getting, the more you're going to know where to make that change. And it's going to be really helpful that we're going to have a Mercury retrograde during this time period, even though a lot of people are like, Mercury retrograde is horrible. It's not. It's a really great time to do less phones, computers, work, and more to do a little bit of reviewing and resetting and reintegration. This is a huge integration time. And so Mercury is in Virgo right now. And so our communication and the way we're thinking, we're very detail oriented, and that's great for setting up new systems. But we do need to slow down and slow our roll a little bit. So that will be happening. The Mercury retrograde won't be happening till August 13th. So I'll be talking about that more as we get closer. But definitely you might feel like things are moving really fast right now. And it's not that that's necessarily going to slow down, but you're going to have time to integrate. And so just knowing that that will come, right now it doesn't feel like that. And it won't feel like that probably for a little bit. So just being okay that you will get that time to integrate. You will. Venus will be moving into Cancer July 31st, and that's exciting because right now Venus is in Gemini, and it's not helping the Gemini energy with the Leo energy. For me personally, I know that it's just a little bit much, and so having our kind of our heart center set at this Gemini energy that's very fast-paced and kind of like a little bit two-sided, it can be a little bit much for people. So knowing that that's going to slow, and that's going to be really nurturing, and nurturing our relationships that are going to help us in this coming month, with the eclipse being kind of a really big time for people, that the Venus in Cancer is going to really help with that, and just really create nurturing and create more of a homey type feel within ourselves, and that's going to be really helpful. So just my advice to you is just get straight with some details in your life right now. It doesn't have to be big. It just can be like even 2 things that you're going to focus on this week, and take some time Sunday to really just so do those details, whatever you need to wrap up, so that by Sunday you can just rest and be in a place of more calm. It might be helpful if you can be outdoors, if you can be near water on Sunday, because of that, the sun and the water, right? So we have the Scorpio and Leo, so that can be really helpful. But if you do have a lot of those energies in your chart, just being aware and not getting into conflict with people at that day. And then we'll also have on August 3rd, Uranus going retrograde in Aries, which is also really good because we've had a lot of change come up, and we're going to have more. And Uranus is the quick change and great awakener, and all of a sudden we're having these big things happen. And when it's in Aries, Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. It's the I am, and so the warrior, and so it can be a little bit much when it's there, and so it's there for a while. But when we have that retrograde, we have a little bit of break between the what needs to happen right now, and like, I'm going to do this right now, and big change, And then we have this little break to do that again, integration, that, okay, I know I want this change, but it doesn't have to happen today. It doesn't have to happen even tomorrow, but I can start making these little changes or these little adjustments and a little tweaks to my daily routine, maybe to my interactions a little bit, and I have the time to do the things I need to do, because right now it might not feel like you have a lot of time. So definitely by next week you might feel like you have a tiny bit more, but just in general, just knowing that eclipse seasons are huge. And I know a lot of people are dealing with pets and with family members, all of a sudden, you know, someone you love having a stroke, all of a sudden someone you love finding out they have a tumor. And so it's just really important to stay grounded at this time, and to know that this is the time that some people do come onto the planet and go off of the planet, and that it's not right or wrong, and that there's not much that we can do at times, and that can feel overwhelming, but that's just the nature of being alive. And these eclipse times are just big change. And so the more that you can stay grounded, and the more that you can really check in with yourself and your internal compass, the more help that you're going to be to the people around you that are struggling, and the less conflict that you'll have in the outer world. So just remembering that with all people posting things about Trump, I've just done a really great job this month of not following what's going on, because I'm like, the more I do that, the more I feel my energy stores go down and down, and that really doesn't serve me, it doesn't serve my kids, and it doesn't serve my family. And so I'm really kind of doing some big work around that, because part of me feels guilty even saying that I'm not paying attention. But I know, my intuition knows that my work on this planet is to pull away from that a little bit more, and to assist people personally, and those that are around me more fully. And I can do that when I check out a little bit from that more. And knowing that, you know, Trump's chart, someone was just sending to me, well, what is, you know, Trump has a Leo rising, and that's true. And so this eclipse season is going to be big for him. You know, it's that's just the way he's viewed in the world, and the way he's perceived by people is going to change this month. And so I can't really say if that's going to be for the best or not, but of course it's my hope that people that have been following him and that have been supportive of him might change their tune. But we have to admit also that he's not acting alone, and that there's a bigger system at hand that's starting to crumble. And the more that he's really loud and out there in a Leo way, the more that we're able to see the inner workings of the system that is supporting him, or even not supporting him, but not really stepping up in a way that's going to be helpful to our society. So I think it's a really great time for us as a whole, and to look at our systems. And I was definitely talking about that a lot in my last video, around the systems and structures and programs that we've been running as a culture, just kind of crumbling. And that's a little bit scary, but it's also a great opportunity for us to create new. And we know this to be true, that this, I mean, if you just check into your intuition, it's definitely happening. It's happening with a lot of young people. 15-year-olds to 22-year-olds are not in the same system that we are, and they're just what is the system that you guys have set up? So it's a really great time to just know that those changes are happening, and stay centered within ourselves. So this is the last week, July 31st, August 1st, last day to email me if you want your eclipse reading. You don't have to schedule by then, but you just need to let me know and give me your birth information and pay by then. And then you can schedule throughout August, although I do recommend, if you are doing that, it's very helpful the sooner you have that information. So scheduling with me soon is helpful for you. And so that's a half-an-hour session, and we have time to look at what the eclipse is bringing out for you, but also answer any questions you have, and really do some guidance around how to best shine and be in your center during this time. So I hope you guys have a great day. If you have any questions, you can post them here, and I'll try to answer them. Otherwise, just know, first quarter moon happening this Sunday, and then the full moon will be on August 7th, and that will be partial lunar eclipse. And so that's really the Leo Aquarius energy, right? It's all about courage and freedom. And so this is, as we're coming to this first quarter moon, looking at where you want to have more courageous freedom, and more just beautiful heart-centered change. So definitely on the 7th, the full moon is going to be big, and so preparing for that as well. Have a great day, guys. Talk to you soon.